Hey, welcome to Tablenauts. I'm Doolin, and today I have a very exciting episode for you guys. Not that they're not all exciting. This one feels like it's something that's been in the making for a long time. Reason being is because if you've been around the channel long enough, you know that we absolutely love a game called Awkward Guests. And Awkward Guests by Megacorp and Games was one of the first games that I remember Max championing on our channel. He talked about how it was his Clue killer because he loved Clue growing up, and Awkward Guests was just that for him. And I remember he introduced it to Emily and I, and we immediately fell in love. Emily especially, this is one of her favorite games, probably top 10, top 20 of all time for her. And we play this all the time, even two-player. We play it with my family. They love it. We play it with, we've introduced it. One of my favorite memories of this game was playing it with Jeff and Jamie when we went on our little cabin getaway here in Kentucky and introducing it to them, and they loved it. So when we heard that they're coming out with an Awkward Guest 2, we had to jump on. I messaged them immediately. I was like, I need to take a look at this, and they were really nice back, and they were very kind enough to send us a copy. Now they only had copies of it in Spanish, so we got Incómodos Invitados Dos, which, if you didn't know, I actually took Spanish in college, and Emily is a Spanish teacher and has some degrees when it comes to teaching Spanish and teaching English. So I just want to share with you the differences first, and then the pros and cons of this, even comparing it to the first game, so that you can decide, do you need this? Because I think that it's for some people, maybe not for others. So first of all, let's go with the differences. So the biggest difference, and the very first difference that we're going to talk about, is that the player count is just a complete difference from the first game. The first game was 1 to 8 players. This one is 2-player only. That is a far cry from the very first game, where I really treated this more as like a party game. Emily and I would play it back and forth twice, or with 2 players only, but I think it plays best at the first game at least 3, if not 4 or 5. It's just super fun when you have a lot of people around the table doing the same thing, and you have a lot of people to trade cards with. That also leads me into the second difference, which is that there aren't really cards that you're bartering with to trade with people, which is the main way of collecting cards from people, collecting clues from people, and eliminating possibilities on your own little sheet. And in this one, it's a dice rolling system. You roll some dice, and you can choose to keep the dice that you rolled the first time or re-roll some of them, and then you have to assign them to different clues that you can ask the other player about. That leads us to the last difference, which is so cool, which is that you guys aren't playing the same case. In fact, you are playing a case that the other person built for you at the beginning of the game. Now, that sounds like it might be kind of crazy, because if you've played the original game, you did all of that pretty much online. At least we did. There's an app you can get that is free, that you literally tell it to give you a random case, and then it tells you all the card numbers that you need to shuffle in to make the decks. But in this game, you get to choose for the other person the killer, their motive, and also their murder weapon. And that is awesome. That's so cool, because I think the more you play this, the more tricky you can get with it. Because you're also going to be throwing in like false motives for other people, and so you can kind of disguise certain people, and then on top of that, you're going to get to choose the way they moved around the house to try to hide their footsteps, because the servants are going to give away some people that didn't pass through certain rooms. And so if you can get them to go like a really weird way, awesome. And then on top of that, depending on what rooms they moved through, you get to choose the weapon as well. So that kind of leads me into the pros, which I'm gonna start by saying that's a huge pro for me. I love that you get to set this up, and then the game is played out in this way that you're never getting repeating clues from the other person. In the base game, it can be really, really disheartening when you trade away a lot of good stuff and then the person gives you clues that you already knew. Whereas in this game, you're only going to be seeing new information every time you're getting it. In that way, every turn feels really, really important, and you know that it's actually the same is true for the other person, and so it builds the tension. On top of that, because of the way that the game is set up, where you're setting it up for the other person, setup is actually fun for this game. In the base game, I think my least favorite part of playing the game, and Emily knows this because every time we have to do this, it's so frustrating, getting out the cards, counting out the ones, making sure you didn't forget any of the 50 or so cards that you had to get out of this like 150 card deck. And in this game, the setup is cool. I actually almost look forward to it more than the actual game, where I get to like be the DM for the other player and choose who the killer is going to be and choose how they gonna get to the victim and choose what their starting room is. Like all of that kind of stuff is neat and fun, and as soon as you're done with that, you're ready to go. Some cons that I do want to bring up though is that the lack of words on cards can be a really good thing for them production-wise if they just want to produce the whole game one way and then just change the rule book that's going in each box, because it's going to be language independent. There's no more are you going to be reading these cards and finding out the information. It's all done through iconography. However, what we've learned is that your first few games can get really frustrating because it's constantly like, okay, wait, what does this one do? What does this dice roll do? What does this icon mean? And if people don't know, it can almost ruin the game because you can't ask the other player to help you. What was nice though is that like when Katie and Max played this for the first time, I threw them into the game and I was there to teach them. And I think that might be how you have to play this game, like at least the first time, or maybe even just the first game be like a walkthrough game, because you might get questions from the other person and they don't want to mess up, because if they mess up what they tell you, then the game is lost. Like it can't happen in the first game because it's all done over the phone. You need to be careful, and you just need to watch. I think it might take at least 2 or 3 plays, which might be the biggest con ever, because I know some their patience after one play, if they didn't get it, they didn't get it. So I think it needs repeat plays. And the only other con I have is that 2-player only is a bold choice. And the reason I say that is because my family, I told them like, hey, we're getting Awkward Guests 2, and they were excited about it. And then we realized we're never playing it at family night because there's 6 of us. So like, why would we want to just sit and watch the other? And I guess we could play it team based. And that honestly, that's not a horrible idea. We might try that and see, but the fact of the matter is that it's supposed to be a 2-player game, and so it works great for people like Emily and I who love to play Awkward Guests. But again, I think it's not that great at 2, whereas Incómodos Invitados 2, Awkward Guests 2, is like, it's designed for 2 players. It's really good Awkward Guests at 2. That leads me into the last question that I want to answer, which is, who is this game for? Who should consider getting this game? And I think personally, what I would be comfortable saying to you guys is, if you've played Awkward Guests 1 and you like to play games at 2-player, you have like a couple, like you're a couple, or you have a best friend that you play with, and you guys are like commonly finding yourself at just 2 players, Awkward Guests 2 is an easy add because it's just better Awkward Guests 1 for 2 players. But that being said, like if you're used to only playing Awkward Guests with a whole lot of people, and that's how you want to enjoy Awkward Guests, this is not for you. It's literally not made for you. On top of that, I think because of the iconography and the difficulty of learning this game, if you haven't played Awkward Guests 1, is going to be a lot higher. For those of you that have played Awkward Guests 1, you're gonna pretty much fly through the rule book, but I would almost recommend, if you've not played Awkward Guests 1, to not get this. And that makes sense because it's the sequel, but like, get the first game because it's incredible. It's a must buy for the entire Tablenauts crew. We love it. But that being said, Awkward Guests 2, you should wait and play the first one first and see how you like it. But this I'm very happy about, and Emily and I will play this a lot. And so thank you, Mega Corbin, for sending it our way. And if you guys are interested in this at all, please take a look at their Kickstarter page, which will be down in the description below. On top of that, let us know, or let them know, that we pointed you toward them, if you don't mind, because that actually goes a long way for us. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Doolin. Bye.